So now we are up to the last tool, which is Extrude. Okay, so I'm gonna delete this cube, show the grid, and I'm gonna use cylinder. Okay, now you can actually apply Extrude to vertex. You can also apply Extrude to edge and faces, but most of the time you're gonna be applying Extrude to faces, especially in this module. Okay, so the way Extrude work, right, is you select all these faces on the top, right? So I'm using like shift and left mouse button, and I'm pressing 4, right? So all the top one are being selected, and then I'm gonna use this button right here, okay, Extrude. Now once you click this button, right, it'll give me this manipulator. Okay, now one thing you need to remember is that you need to apply, right, or at least like one of these operation when you apply Extrude. Okay, now in this case I'm going to apply move, so I'm gonna press W, right, and I want to pull up. Okay, so this is what Extrude give me. Okay, now in the first glance, right, the tool doesn't seem all that powerful. Okay, but if you apply all this operation, okay, so while this is being selected, okay, I'm gonna click again, right, I'm gonna press the scale, which is R, okay, this time, so they're gonna give me like a bit of thickness, right, okay, and then I'm gonna apply non-extrusion, right, and this time it will be followed by move. So again, I'm gonna push downward instead. Okay, so I can create like complex shape pretty fast using this Extrude. Okay, and again I can like push these faces a bit deeper, okay, by using this move tool like that. Okay, so let's do it again using a different object. So I'm going to delete this object, delete, and maybe I'm going to use a cube this time. Okay, and again I'm gonna select like one of these faces, right, and I'm gonna use Extrude. Okay, and again every time you apply Extrude you must at least use one of these. Okay, and I'm gonna use scale maybe, right, shortcut is R, scale like that, and apply again, right, and this time I want to use W, so I can either pull forward or push inside. Maybe I want to pull forward, right, so while these are being selected, I'm going to use Extrude again, and I want to make it bigger, right, using scale. Okay, and I'm going to push a little bit backward. Okay, and again I want to use Extrude. Okay, and maybe pull forward, press W. Okay, and this time I can actually rotate or whatever. Okay, maybe do another one here, right, Extrude, scale down, right, and Extrude again, right, pull up, or maybe I can rotate this time, and I can create like a very complex shape just using Extrude. Okay, now, so what's the reason we must actually apply all these operation once you use Extrude? Well, I'm going to show you what happens if I don't use one of these operation when you use Extrude. Okay, so let's select one of these faces and I click Extrude. Okay, now if you don't move or rotate or scale, right, the Extrude is actually still being applied. So if I click again, right, and click again, and click again, and as you can see, like there is at least like 4 or 3 times extrusion being applied to the object. And if I press Ctrl A, right, and you see like the extrude is actually being applied, and there's actually like stack of vertex that is being placed there. Okay, so I'm gonna right click, go to object mode, and you look at the vertex there. Okay, so this is gonna be quite dangerous because if I move these, right, you see there's another one there. Okay, and there's another one there. Okay, so we don't know like how many vertex is being placed there, and this can actually mess up your modeling object there. You see now everything's getting like yeah, jagged every time you try to zoom, and this indicates like there's an error happening. Okay, so yeah, this can be quite hard to fix. Okay, so now like there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vertex being stacked there, right? And it's very hard to kind of like adjust or fix. Okay, that's why like every time you do extrusion, you need to at least like move, or maybe rotate, or maybe scale, just to give like enough gap in your model, maybe something like this. Okay, because otherwise like things like this can actually break your model, and when it comes to the texturing stage, yeah, it may not work properly, and you have to go back to the modeling stage to kind of fix it. So it's kind of a waste of time. Okay, so make sure you always check your model, right, and do a nice extrusion. Okay, now so one thing to check quickly is that if I click and drag, right, seems like there's one vertex there, but actually like there is actually 5 vertex being stacked there. That means like it's indicating like there's something wrong around that area, and the same thing goes here. Okay, so if I press 4, okay, so there's like 4 vertex there, and there's 1 vertex there. So I want to zoom in, and if I select this and I move it, press 5 again, you can see like, yeah, the vertex is actually being stacked. Okay, that's something that we don't want happen in your model, because in some bad cases you might need to remodel from scratch. Yeah, it's pretty bad because when it comes to the complex shape where there is a line goes everywhere, it's very hard to fix these vertex or extrude problem, and you might as well to create things from scratch. Okay, so that's something that you need to be very mindful when you do extrusion, especially. Okay, now one more thing that I'm gonna do with extrusion is that we're going to use this shortcut, okay, in which you can refer to week 1. Okay, so G is to repeat a command. Okay, now so I'm gonna select again top one, right, all these faces on the top. Make sure like nothing else are being selected. I'm gonna use extrude. Okay, and this time I'm going to like scale it down, right, and then like move it up. Okay, move it up. Now, so what does this G do? Well, G is to repeat the last command. Sorry, to repeat the last command, right? So whatever you did like previously, right, G will like repeat that command. Okay, in this case, what I did previously is that extrude, but in some cases you may do things like bevel, or you may do things like split polygon, and so on and so on. Okay, so G will always change. It will depend on the last command that you did previously, and it will repeat. Now, so in this case, because the function or the command that I did is extrude, when I press G while it's being selected, it will repeat the extrusion for me. Okay, so all I have to do is just move here, and then yeah, it will create extrusion. Okay, so this is like really fast when it comes to modeling, because most of the time you're going to repeat like the same function again and again. So learning how to use G command is really useful. Okay, again I want to like press G and press W to move. You see how fast I'm creating like this nice shape, like the maybe like a bullet, right? So, and again I can repeat same thing with the bottom, right? Because the function or the command that I did are still extrude. Okay, so I can just press G again and press W, right, to pull. And I can press G, right, and I press R to scale up, right, and I can press G again and press W. Okay, so you see how fast I can create like all these with just using G function command. Press G again, W to push it up, and I can get something like that. Okay, and again, like there are different way of modeling. So if I want to create like a nice notch here, I can combine this function, right? Insert edge loop and then extrude. Okay, to create something like this. Okay, so I'm creating a nice division, right? And I'm going to select all these faces, right? Okay, press 4, and I can use extrude, or maybe press G, right? Same thing, and I'm going to like scale outward. Okay, and creating this nice shape. Okay, so that's all about the extrusion.